Here we are. So it's lovely to see you after a break. Sorry, people are still coming in, so if you see me peering at the screen, I'm just letting people in. So today we are starting with the throat chakra, which is also known as Vishuddhi. And this chakra is all about purity. Now, all the chakras are important. I can't say one is more important than the other. But if we're looking at recovery, I think how we speak, in fact, another word or another translation for Vishuddhi is purity. And I think this is really important in our recovery to consider this. So I'm just going to give a brief description, not too much, because I always appreciate you might have fatigue. And then we're going to do some movement, well, not movement, but some breathing and chanting around the throat chakra just to help us. But I just want to explain what this chakra is about and why we are going to be doing what we're doing. And I'm taking this from my book that I wrote with Nadine McKee, Breathe, Rest, Recover, although I've since actually added on some more notes. So I actually started when I was writing this section of the book with, do you always say what you mean? Do you sometimes hide behind a veil of people pleasing? I was obviously thinking about myself as well when I wrote this, but I think having met so many of you, this is something that is common to many of us. So we worked with the heart last month in April, and if our heart is about cultivating unconditional love and authenticity, Vishudi at the throat is about how we express our deepest truth. It's associated with the element, some translations call it space, others call it ether. And of course, we need space for heart-to-heart communication. So, the vital aspect of this chakra is purity. It's about hearing and also about speaking. It's associated with our ears, our mouth, our throat, and our thyroid gland. And what can block it a lot is fear of speaking out. And again, I think that's something that's in common for us, for all of us. There's a principle in yoga that words and sound can change matter. Vedic philosophy suggests that for health, we should elevate and purify our voice. And we can do this with mantra, but it's also about choosing our words, speaking out truthfully but kindly, not saying bad words, not swearing. And one of the things that really helps this chakra as well as mantra is singing, and also prayer and the appropriate use of voice, and just the freedom to communicate our personal truth. So I hope that resonates with you and that means something to you. We'll be doing more over the coming month, but I'd like you just to take a moment to come to a comfortable sitting position. Close your eyes if you're comfortable to do that. And then just take a moment or two to tune in to how you are. And have a feeling of welcoming yourself, however you are, whatever state you find yourself in, mind, body, spirit, emotions. Just allow everything to be. And then just nod the head up and down slightly, and then leave it balanced. So we're tucking the chin in slightly to the top of the chest and lengthening the neck. And we're thinking of the ears being over the shoulders. And then we're just going to roll our shoulders a few times just to help to release the top of the body, the shoulders, the neck. And then very gently, just take your left ear towards your left shoulder. If you like, you can loop your hand over your head and just stretch it a little more. And feel how the right side of the neck feels. And then come back to the center. Take a few breaths as you center, and then take that to the other side. So right ear to right shoulder, looping the hand over the head, just to increase the stretch, but without tension. Everything should feel comfortable. Observe if it feels different on one side from the other. And then come back. Do that a couple times more to each side. And then center. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're wearing like a padded, the kind of thing you might wear on an aeroplane if you were on an aeroplane, or if you're traveling, you know, those padded foam collars. So you're not going to take your head too far up or down in one direction. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll our head, not taking it too far back, imagining this collar. So we're just gently rolling the head, not going too far, just a few times in one direction. And then we'll circle the other way. But again, still with this padded collar that's stopping us from taking the head too far back or the chin too far forward. And then come back to center. And again, just roll the shoulders a couple of times. And then just sit quietly and soften the jaw and soften around the eyes. Take a moment or two to think about your posture, but also think about this area around the neck, Vishudi chakra. And we're just going to do a little bit of breath work. We're going to do something a little bit different today, but I'll explain as we go along. So just start by observing your breath, your natural rhythm without judgment. And as you start to observe, the breath probably automatically starts to slow down. And then we're going to take one hand to the heart, one below the belly button. We're going to breathe into the lower hand. And if you can, you're thinking of breathing slow and low through the nose, from the diaphragm. So the hand on the heart's relatively still, the hands on the belly is just moving slightly out as you inhale. And then back again as you exhale. So just observe that rhythm. And then drop the hands back. And what we're going to do now is we're going to think about prana. So prana is often described as universal life force energy. It's the vitality of life. And one of the most effective ways we increase our prana is by how we breathe. And we can do this with visualization. So what I'd like you to do is visualize breathing into the belly. And as you breathe in, visualize prana expanding outwards into the belly, into the navel. And as you breathe out, visualize the prana coming back towards the belly button. So breathing in, the prana comes out. Breathing out, the prana comes back towards the belly button. So just try that visualization for a few breaths. And then releasing that, we're going to do a little bit of chanting, always optional, but chanting is considered very powerful for the chakras. And the seed mantra for the throat, for Vishuddhi chakra, is hum. So you might see this written as H-A-M, but it's kind of between an A and a U, so it's hum. So I'm going to demonstrate it. And if you like, you can take your fingertips to your throat, but just have them gently there. Don't press too hard. This is just to be aware of this chakra area. So it will sound like this. Om hum hum hum. So you try that in your own breathing rhythm, your own pitch. I'll do that once more, and then you repeat it. Om hum hum hum. And once more. Om hum hum hum. And when you finish, drop your hands to your knees with your eyes closed. Focus on breathing in light into the throat and breathing out anything you no longer want to hold on to. Just observe how you are, trying to keep your awareness in the present moment. And then when you're ready, just cup your cheeks in your hands and take 3 slow breaths here. Just feel that you are soothing yourself. And then we're going to take one hand to the forehead and one behind the neck, the base of the spine, base of the cranium, sorry, base of the skull. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. And then drop one hand on the heart, keep one hand on the forehead, swap the hands over if you want. And again, 3 breaths like this. And then finally, drop the hand on the forehead to the belly and take 3 slow, mindful breaths like this. And then drop your hands to your knees. And I'm going to ask you a reflective question. If you remember, this is a question that we drop into the silence. It doesn't require an answer. But the reflective question is, when should I speak up? Do I speak my truth? When should I speak up? Do I speak my truth? I think I said in the email I sent out that my teacher always says that if we don't speak up and out when we want to, that forms a block. In Sanskrit, that's known as a granti, and eventually that can cause us to become ill. But it's difficult if we're not used to speaking up. We're used to being polite and nice. It takes time. But just think about something in your life that maybe you're not speaking out truthfully about. And then when you're ready, please come down to a comfortable lying position. So that might be on the floor, that might be on a sofa, it might be even on a bed. I suggest you have something under your head to help the back of the neck to lengthen. And you might like to start with the knees bent. And just as you get ready, I want to explain that Vishuddhi Chakra is about what we listen to as well as what we speak out about. So it's also about paying attention that we listen to uplifting, nice things, that we're not bombarding our senses with things which are too difficult or stressful. So it's about what we give our attention to as well. And it's also about the ability to listen as well as to speak. And I'll just read while you're getting ready something else, while you're lying, something else from the book. When we think about Vishuddhi Chakra, it means that we need to say what we think and what we feel. For example, maybe we say what we think others want to hear rather than what we really mean. And so we end up feeling resentful, stressed, and misunderstood. This often shows up in relationships. Having the courage to be truthful breaks this pattern. Working with Vishuddhi Chakra means we communicate everything with gentle, tactful, but appropriate authority. Silence and the ability to apply deep conscious listening to others is also associated with the balance of this chakra, as is the health of the throat, neck, and shoulders. It's also about discrimination. So now you've transitioned again, just relax the jaw, soften the face, and gently draw the shoulder blades together and release. And then very, very, very slowly roll the head from side to side. And then center the head and just take your awareness to your back and have the sensation that your support is holding you, and you can release on every exhalation into your support. Feel that your spine is lengthening and that your back is widening. Relax around the hips. And then if you like to have your knees bent, if they're not bent, we're just going to do a very gentle pelvic tilt. So have your heels coming towards your buttocks, feet hip width apart. And there is a relationship from the throat to the pelvis. So we're just going to work with the pelvis. So we're going to breathe in. As we breathe out, just bring the navel to the spine and gently tilt the pelvis towards the belly button. So the smaller the back comes into your support. And then on an in-breath, relax down. So exhale, navel to spine, tilt the pelvis towards you. Inhale and release. And just try that a few times in your own breathing rhythm. And then just have the palms down beside you by the hips. And we're going to do a movement with chanting, but as always, you don't need, if you would rather not say the mantra, you can hum or you can just breathe. So we're going to inhale and lift the arms up to open out the sides of the body. And then we're going to chant the arms back. Om hum hum hum. And just do that 3 to 5 times in your own breathing rhythm, your own pitch, inhaling. Om hum hum hum. Listen to the body and just do what feels right. Don't do anything that's too much. And when you finish, take one knee, then the other over the belly and just have a rock from side to side. So you can hold under the knees or on the knees or below the knees, wherever is comfortable for you. Just rocking out the spine. And then pausing with the knees over the belly, we're just going to circle the knees together and apart. So breathe in and let the knees push away from you or draw away from you, so the elbows straighten. Open the knees wide apart. As you breathe out, the knees come towards you and then together. Breathing in as they move away and open. Breathing out as they come in and together. And just doing that a few times, being aware of what's happening in the hips. And then taking that the other way in the opposite direction. And then pausing with the knees over the belly. Drop the hands down to the floor or your support. And then have the hands out like a cross, just below shoulder level. And then drop the feet down to your support. And we're just going to gently rock the knees from side to side. They don't have to come all the way down. just gently rocking. And now, if it's comfortable for you, we're going to take the knees over to the right. Roll the head to look over the left shoulder. Place some padding under your knees if you need to. And you're going to take 5 slow breaths there. And after your 5 breaths, you center the head and you center the knees and you just rest. Remember, if this is too much, then just rest out. Only do what your body says is all right. And then take that, when you've finished, to the other side. So your knees come to the left, head rolls to look over the right shoulder. Again, place padding under your knees if you need to. Just feel yourself really relaxing into the twist. So feel on every exhalation that you are letting go. And observe if you feel different on one side from how you feel on the other. Without judgment, just as an observation. And again, when you've had your 5 breaths, center your knees. And then hug the knees into the chest, rocking out the spine again from side to side. And then drop your feet to the floor or your support, stretch out your legs. And then please get ready for Yoga Nidra.